Happy holidays, everybody. It is that time of year that all of the good cheer is being spread around. But in family law cases, the hot topic in this time of year is modification of alimony and modification of child support. Sometimes also time sharing and parental responsibility. So let's talk a little bit about what it takes to modify your alimony or modify your child support. You are the person paying. Let's say that that's the example. And you want to file a modification. There are certain standards that you have to be able to prove if you want to make those changes. And we use an acronym called PMUSIC to remind lawyers and to kind of give us a little brief reminder on how we can survive or how we can prevail on an alimony or a child support modification. So the first thing is that it has to be a permanent change. It cannot be a seasonal change. If you work at the beach in the summer and you make a lot of money, but you don't make a lot of money during the winter, that is not a permanent change, because guess what? It's probably going to be warm here again in January for all we know, and you're going to be making money again. So that is not a permanent change in your circumstances. The second thing is it has to be material, meaning something really has to have happened. It can't be a $5 change. It can't be a 2-week layoff. It can't be something that's not material. The third letter of our PMUSIC acronym is the U, and that is unanticipated. It cannot be something that you reasonably expect is going to happen every year, or that you knew was going to happen in a short period of time after you signed your final judgment or after your final judgment was signed. It has to be unanticipated. So this is news to you. S, significant. Again, it has to be significant. It has to be a big issue, enough to go back to court and spend thousands of dollars to hire lawyers to change this. The I, and this is probably the most important thing in context of alimony, it has to be involuntary. So if you are a stay-at-home mom or you are working and now you have decided to become a stay-at-home mom because you have a husband that can support your family, that's a voluntary decision. You cannot go and ask for more alimony or a modification of alimony or a modification of your child support and expect that the court is going to be paying that or allow that to be increased because you made a voluntary lifestyle change. So it has to be involuntary. You have to have been fired, laid off, something of that nature. And then lastly, there actually has to be a change. A $5 change or a $10 change that actually works out the same at the end of the year is not really a change. So if you want to prevail on a modification of alimony or child support, you have to have those factors. So you want to be very careful to make sure that when you decide to attempt a modification, that you do it at the right time when all of those standards can be met. Now, the other thing that's sort of hot topic during this time of year is modifications of parental responsibility or child custody. This is the time of year that people start to feel really down about maybe the way their other spouse is treating their kids. Maybe they're not interacting as well. Maybe there's just things that they don't like about their arrangement. And this is the time of year that people really start to stir up about it. And modifications of parental responsibility and child custody time sharing require a very similar set of standards. A unanticipated, significant, unforeseen change in circumstance. That altogether has to also meet the best interests of the children involved. So it can't have anything to do with you. It has to all have something to do with the actual child or children. Now, the main part of that acronym for modification of child time sharing or custody is the unforeseen. This is the biggest problem I have when I have clients coming in trying to change their custody arrangements or their time sharing arrangements. Marrying somebody, if you've divorced when you were in your late 20s or in your 30s, marrying somebody new and having some other siblings, some more children, that is reasonably foreseeable in the world of divorce. It's foreseeable that you're going to get remarried, get back on with your life, you might grow your family. Those things are expected and they're foreseeable. If you are in the military and you know that you're going to be retiring at you're at your end of your stint. It is foreseeable that you are going to be retiring, and it wouldn't be enough to give you a modification. So these things really have to be unforeseen. Health conditions, major changes in how a parent exercises their time sharing, consistent abdication of time sharing, being late, never showing up, drug use, alcohol use, those kinds of things are all going to be reasons for modifications, assuming those things didn't exist at the time of your final judgment. So if you are served with a modification, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to call your lawyer and ask them, has the opposing side made a valid claim for a modification under these factors? And if not, there might be a grounds for a motion to dismiss. If not, then, or you want to file one, then it's time to call your lawyer. Modifications can be difficult and they can be serious depending on what the allegations are. You definitely don't want to go into it unrepresented. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and that none of this information pertains to you ever, but if it does, we're here for you.